Right.
Lads, as the Spanish are inclined to say.
Mm-hmm. So, Toby, why would you say such a horrible quote, like trying to justify your use of the N-word?
Welcome everybody to the stream. Today I'm here with people, and we're going to read "This Is Why I Hate You," Chapter 2. So I hope everybody's ready to bung down their dunguses and get crack-a-lacking like Michael Jackson. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so today...
Are you drunk already? It's like, just take a couple shots just to, try and soften the blow.
All right, so I guess I should read the super chat that came in while we weren't live. So thank you, Steel Comedy, who has kindly donated €10. Why do you want to hurt yourself? It's not really a feeling of want. It's more a sense of moral duty. I kid. It's actually just sadomasochism.
Hi.
It's the only way it can get hard these days.
Thank you, Gamebreaker Mills, for the £10. So Greg believes that the main character of his book, I assume you mean this one, is the worst version of himself. I think Chris Hansen and the kids Greg willingly touched would disagree. Well, that's what amazes me. Stone Abigail was the good version of him, and that character was a bit of a nonce. The real life one's a nonce. What's this character going to be like when he gets started? I mean, we're about to crack on with Chapter 2, A Need to Breed. So I mean, I've got low expectations.
I really forgot that was a chapter name.
I forgot about that.
Thank you, Bioman12, for the $3.99. This is gonna suck. Let's do it, boys. Yeah, Gemma's just got here, so we'll be starting in just a moment then. But we figured, why not just get things moving? So at the very least, we can talk to the chat before we start reading. Rather than, as much as I was enjoying the music, I think it is good music. It does make us look rather lazy.
Lazy
delay
us?
for an hour.
No, never, Jacob. What are you on about?
Hi, guys.
So,
Hello.
also, what are the words I'm trying to say? Something in the English language. Yes, that's it. How's the audio? Can everyone hear us? There's also a little bit of background music, but it's the same music we listened to before. I've just turned it right down. Let me know if you want me to turn it up a little bit, guys, in the chat.
It's raining outside.
Rip. Gemma went outside to get snacks and sody pop, as the kids say. The kids call it. Obviously, I'm very grateful for that. But it was raining, so can we get a few Fs in the chat, please, for Gemma?
Everyone should see my hair. It's fantastic.
It doesn't look that bad, to be honest.
It blew over to
Sorry,
the
guys.
side when I
I've
woke up.
just complimented Gemma. If you all want to call me a simp, I understand.
No, you're not allowed to call them simps anymore. Is first tier subscribers or something like that?
Which is like, oh, I'm sorry, Cobe. Did you just try to reassure that female? This huge, deep breath. Simp.
As apparently, was it Twitch is banning people from using the word simp?
Also, I do know about this, but apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but the use of the word simp in Twitch chat since the ban has gone up exponentially.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like trying to ban the N-word on Xbox Live.
Yeah, my phone's got like what do you call it? 6% battery, so that's gonna last.
It's alright, I got 81% if you want to use mine for the chat.
Cool. That sounds good.
Apparently Toby's a bit quiet, so Tobster, I don't know if you want to get a little closer to the Mackie Moo.
I've got an odd setup, but that's
Saying from the ceiling.
Just sort of propping up next to me on my bed. The computer's on the TV, so yeah, it's nice. I've got the chat on the left, the story on the right. Here I am, living my life. I'm 30 years old.
I am 30 years old.
My name is Toby. Creepypasta has ruined my life. I'm 30 years old. Alright, I'll read the last of these super chats and then I think we'll get on with it, shall we? Phantom Glide, thank you very much. They probably ban for simp anyway, but the recent Twitch banning was PogChamp for some effing reason.
That emote.
Yeah, it's a meme or something to where it goes, like, I guess you are my little PogChamp. I don't know what it means. I've just seen that meme everywhere.
Poggers.
Yeah, Poggers and PogChamp. Pimp Demon, thank you. Welcome back to Gemma is more badass than Toby. Yeah, you know your words. But I mean, if you just implied that female was better than a male, I guess that makes you a simp. Makes you a simp demon. Daniel Giovanello, thank you very much for the $5. Time to turn up the diarrhea dial. Socrates, 380 BC, probably.
Sounds about right.
The PogChamp guy's anti-vax. Oh, it's all poggers now. All right, let's do it.
Oh.
Sorry, lots of sounds of me loudly clearing my throat into the microphone. Let's just make sure we've got all that out of our system.
Shall I have your phone number to read the chat for the meantime?
Yeah, you can do. All those super chats have been read.
Lovely. You don't have dark mode?
If you want to enable dark mode for me, I don't know how. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm far too much of a boomer, and also that's your spare phone because mine broke. I don't really know how to use it. Chapter 2. I need to breathe. Fucking hell.
How did you break your phone again?
That just sounds
lots of water got on it.
Or something, or,
You made that joke last week.
I'm just trying to remake, trying to bring it back.
You need to breed underground, which basically sums up in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Need to breed Tokyo Drift.
I don't know if the basement counts as underground. It's been weeks since I last wrote in this journal. You could assume this was due to laziness, but I rarely suffer from that degenerative disease. Not what degenerative means, but let's go on. Here's the thing. I don't know what being unmotivated even feels like, because I'm so fucking awesome. I don't have the ability to sit around and loathe the idea of doing anything outside of wasting my life being lethargic. If something in my life needs to be done, I do it. That's something being a kid. Nailed it! I won't complain.
But the kid.
I won't self-pity and pour kombucha on myself. I will do what is necessary. This journal has not been a priority to me till now. My mother, Sarah Gale, taught me from day one to never feel sorry for myself, to never give up on what I believe in. And I believe that the age of consent should be abolished, and to never miss a positive opportunity when it's sitting right in front of me. That soundbite's going to be taken out of context. She taught me a lot of things before she died. I could not be more grateful for her. The fact that she's dead in place of my father is a reality that drives me insane every time I'm reminded of it. It's going to take a moment because my throat's all phlegmy and great.
Well, my throat's so phlegmy, I think I'm going to have to start reading for the night. Bye, everyone.
Well, he did give up, considering he's now been demonetized completely and has said goodbye to YouTube.
If he's no longer monetized, does that mean he can't claim ad revenue from other people?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Hey, he's going to stop trying to take down the streams that I do about him. Wonderful. I'm going to miss you, Greg. It was great having you in the distance, in the background. It took him all of 3 weeks to get a girlfriend after she died. He was in the hospital with her every day, talking about how much he loved her. Then she died. And what seemed like only a few blinks later, he literally got with a nurse who was working at the same goddamn hospital my mum drew her last breath in. King! Fucking king shit!
Like, doesn't that happen in another creepypasta story we've read? Like,
Homicidal Lou, I know, is like a 14-year-old boy who cops off with an adult nurse. Perhaps that was written by Onision as well.
We're going to find out a deep conspiracy that every single bad creepypasta that's ever been written is just written by Onision. First, Dinotopia. Next, I told you I re-listened to the episode. I was like, we went on for 20 minutes about fucking Dinotopia.
Somebody in the comment section of that, because obviously it's still viewable as a video, just somebody in the comment section was like, I never thought Jacob Sherwood would be the person to reawaken my memories of fucking Dinotopia.
It's so strange.
Her seduction of my freshly widowed father is one of the many reasons I hate that bleach blonde, double-chinned freak. You could say she just felt sympathetic towards my father, having just lost his wife. You might believe, I don't know why I don't know why I'm reading it like film brain.
I don't know.
You might believe she just wanted him to feel better. But you would be wrong. If she really cared about doing what was right, she would have given him time. Instead, she took advantage of a desperate man in a tragic situation. Seeing this woman's limp legs dangling from the side of a dumpster with garbage stains smeared down her calves would disturb me less than seeing her kiss my father. You've got problems, mate. She's an invader. She's the destroyer of what little peace I had left in my own home. All right, we're on to a new page. You know what that means? Super chat break. Because
All right.
I can't be asked to continue reading for a moment.
Thank you, Willie, for the £10.
Willie!
It's Groundskeeper Willie. It's time to write edgy fanfic and chew teenage ass. And I'm all out of ass. Greg Simpum 2021. PowerPoint Tropolis. Thanks for the Canadian bucks. Out of all people, you'd think Greg should know what degenerative means. And Ash Bernal, thanks for the $3.99. Love what you guys are doing and hope you continue.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, that's fun so far.
Well, we will, because there's a whole bunch more chapters to do, so we will be continuing.
Whole load of
This thing here that did what was just
shit.
read. So you reckon this nurse just saw his wife on the bed, like with her legs dangling, that made her moister than an oyster, and she was like, "Fuck it, I'm going with the father." Yeah.
An oyster.
Why not? It's a good analogy.
Is it?
You say moister than the oyster, didn't you? Just like, I've been waiting to say this all day. I'm gonna use it now.
Actually, I've been thinking about it ever since I watched Faked or Fiction, the Alien Autopsy with fucking Jonathan Frakes in it last night, because for some reason it was on Freeview. He has to sit there and watch it.
Oh, why did Jonathan Frakes say moister than an oyster?
It wasn't Jonathan Frakes, but it could have been.
We made it up.
Did Jonathan Frakes say moister than an oyster? No. That was made up by a writer.
We made it up.
Riker, why are you saying moister than an oyster?
I'm sorry, Captain. Clean the septic tank!
Made it up.
Ah, Star Trek The Next Generation. I enjoyed my
I'm so
tenure
glad
writing
they
on
never
that
made
show.
any sort of follow-up shows like 20, 30 years later. That's great the way they didn't do that.
Oh,
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
I know.
And get a bunch of people who don't like Star Trek to write it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad
and
they ended it with Voyager.
yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that with Star Wars either. Right? Jerry is already talking about moving in soon, which means I will become even more forgotten in this household than I already am.
Poor you.
How could this happen to me? Literally, sports are of greater importance to Jerry than me. I'll be honest with you, Greg. What's Greg's character called in this?
It was
Arthur.
Arthur.
Arthur Gale.
Yeah, you were thinking David Gale. It was a guy who was wrongly executed.
No, I was just remember because you made up like the next Onision book where you're like the villain in it, and you called him Dave, so that stuck in my head more than his actual character.
But
So like the four like words you made up for your own your fake Onision book is more memorable than this shit.
I fucking forgot what I was on about. I can't remember what I was on about now. Oh yes, that was it. If you were my son, sports would be more important to me as well. And I should point out sports are of no particular importance to me.
Yeah. We don't like sports.
Yeah, but I like sports more than I would like my son if my son was like this.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Like, no.
You got that right. Another fat American white guy who watches sports. Don't be racist. They're a dime in a million. They're a dime a million, excuse me. Yeah. My father is a wart on the backside of the human species. Speaking of sports, I fantasized about a massive weapon going off in the middle of a major sporting event. I mean, this is a really easy joke, but I'm going to do it anyway. Greg, I don't need to hear about you fantasizing about a massive weapon. The weapon is a penis. Going off in the middle of a major sporting event. Surely it would be so incredibly sad. The horror, I know. Okay. Meanwhile, from a logical standpoint, the world wouldn't really suffer much losing a condensed population of wasted and aimless lives, aka the millions of sports fans infesting this planet. What's he got against sports, by the way? Because Stone Star Abigail had this whole thing about jocks as well, didn't it?
Do you honestly think one of the do you honestly think that with like Greg and like with anything with like to do with sports and stuff like that, that he's just like that he was like, oh yeah, I want to be with these guys.
Yeah.
Like, because I think it's a case of jealousy, to be honest.
Perhaps.
It's like I am a very short man, and I hate tall women. Like he actually does. He absolutely hates tall women. Like apparently.
Too bad. Looks like you won't get that date with him after all. So, sorry to break that to you, Gemma.
It was like Jacqueline Glenn's like just about an inch smaller than me.
Yeah.
And apparently when he first met Jacqueline Glenn, he was like, "Ew, you're tall."
Gross.
And then has like completely like made fun of her for being tall the whole time because he doesn't like it. He's not attracted to tall women.
Well, tall women look less like children.
That's
Yeah,
true. That's
like,
true.
It makes sense that he doesn't like, like sports stars and stuff like that because, like, they're rich, successful. Because like he's some basement dwelling like YouTuber, fucking on like who gives a fuck about him and his like kiddie fiddling, where these rich like sports stars can get away with all the kiddly thing they want.
That's true. Well, the thing is, he can fiddle all the kids he wants, and he's on track to become president of the United States. That joke is about his previous book, where the final line is, I guess I won't be running for president after all. And it's certainly not a joke about Inauguration Day. I would never suggest that Joe Biden is a notorious paedophile. I would never, ever make that suggestion. That was a joke about Greg's previous book. I want to go on the record with that.
I forgot that's how he ended his fucking, like, oh god, just avoiding this book, thinking about his fucking old one where the school, this crazy council burned down the school? Fuck, how did that end? He just sort of gave up.
So Greg is 5'9", but he faked his
Magnet!
height. But he faked his height by standing on his tippy toes next to saying that he's over 6 feet.
Oh my goodness, that's so sad.
There's a picture of it.
Like, don't get me wrong, I just because you're short isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are some short kings out there.
Yeah.
Duncan, for example,
Duncan is a short
king.
Absolute king.
But Onision is just one more tally against him, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get a whole picture of Onision now, the whole puzzle. Short, unathletic, and weak. Yeah, it makes sense.
When you said talk about him being short, I have that random memory of, remember that guy who was short and went nut? Was it like mad in a McDonald's or a shop or something like that? Do you remember that YouTube? There's this guy who just went in crazy because he was short or something like that.
In the bagel shop.
What the fuck are you talking
the
about?
bagel shop guy.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I would really like to get back to reading.
I know who he's talking about.
Those tiny insects gathered together, watching one half brain-dead man throw a ball to another brain-damaged man just so he can reach a made-up and meaningless goal. They're brain-dead? Those fucking successful athletes are brain... What the fuck does that make the rest of us if those guys are brain-dead?
I also want to know, like, what does he want them to do instead? What sort of magnificent things they can do to get on his level?
Be depressed all the time and appreciate the little things like books and
little girls.
Going to Black Veil Brides concerts and simping after Shane Dawson and what's the guy that's in Black Veil Brides?
I didn't know Shane Dawson was in Black Veil Brides.
Andy Bersack. That's it.
For what purpose do people professionally play sports? Passion.
Money.
Yeah, and the money's probably a help as well. So they can collect millions of dollars yearly until their knees give out or their heads get cracked open. Then what? The majority of professional football players go bankrupt after they retire. What was it all worth? Can I see the statistic for this, Greg?
Yeah,
would you not
citation, please?
Trade your memories for a body that isn't broken? It's just a game of numbers. There's no real depth, and it's so simple. Well, you do it then. The mere lack in intelligence, I think you mean lack of, or creativity is why so many generic and useless minds gravitate towards it. All right, Greg, you go out and get good at football then.
You must be smart enough to play it, of course.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm no professional athlete. I do lift weights as a hobby. I enjoy it. I do consider it a sport, to an extent. It's not competitive the way I do it, but I enjoy it. Greg, I'm sure you'd be better at it than me. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence for me to pick up a heavy thing and put it back down. perhaps you and I could, I don't know, have like a deadlifting contest or something.
I'd pay to watch that.
I think there's 100-odd people right now that would pay to watch that. Tired of getting confused by the complex reality of human existence? No. Here, monkey, watch sports. Then you won't have to think anymore. And while you're at it, drink a beer. That'll dumb down your potential to do anything worthwhile with your time.
I'd rather drink a beer than I'd be anywhere near you,
Do
jerkwad.
all the science. Solve all the things, all the problems in the world with your spare time instead of doing football things. How dare you? How dare you want to have a life? How dare you want to have a passion? Fuck you for wanting to actually have a life. No, you're supposed to live the life that I want you to live because I am a piece of shit. What the fuck is this character?
I don't know.
Because
I know that this isn't.
solving all the world's problems.
This is Greg indulging his dark side. Apparently, this character. So he is the other end of the spectrum of Greg, the autism spectrum that is Greg Jackson. You've got Stones to Absathoth guy, and you've got this guy, and they're supposed to be the two opposite ends. And I don't think they're all that different, to be honest. But
I'm gonna be honest.
I think he's closer to this guy.
The only difference between this guy and the last guy is this guy's wearing black and got his dick out.
Gemma, would you like to read some super chats since we've finished another page?
Yes, just let me get back to... Yeah, there we go. Alright, Pimp Demon, thanks for the 50 kroner. Jeff the Killer, how could this happen to me? I made a mistake. It's back to the mine. God, I'm so old and white. Jammy Dodgems, thanks for the £2. More like Arthur Fleck. And,
Yeah, I used to think my life was a try not to laugh challenge, but now I realise it's a cringe compilation.
Steel Comedy, thanks for the €5. Onion
Still
Boy
better.
hates sports because jocks could outrun him.
Yeah, basically, like the athletic kids can overpower and escape.
Phantom Gline, thanks for those Australian bucks.
Is that why he also hates tall girls? Because they have, like, leverage over him. Literal.
Yeah, they can overpower him.
Yeah. Little fun fact about the third book, because I think you'll get a laugh. Onion Boy's self-insert in that book is 5'11" tall at age 12.
You wish.
Willie, thank you. Exactly. Yeah, thanks again for the £2. Onion calling someone brain dead. Pot kettle.
Willie, I'm from North Kilton as well. Do you know Angus MacLeod?
Bioman12, thanks for the $4.99. To answer your question, Matt, to get on Onision's level, successful athletes would need to pour piss on themselves and cry about being a pedo. And
They'd need to sue the wrong Chris Hansen.
Some English folk, thanks for the £5. Yeah, beer dumbs you down from doing better things like navel gazing.
Yeah, like, what are you doing with your time, Greg? Dressing up like a fucking banana. And making Heath Ledger Joker references in 2016.
2020.
He made one in 2020, I forgot about that.
Oh my god, really?
Really?
Yeah. In his video where he's saying goodbye to YouTube, he's like, I'm going to play you now the video that made me famous. I'm a banana. And then he just plays I'm a banana.
The video that made me... I mean, famous is... it's quite a relative term, isn't it? I don't know if famous is the word I'd use.
Like,
Despised, reviled.
infamous. Uncle Palpy, thanks for £5. Why is it titled This Is Why I Hate You when a more accurate title would be Dark Side of the Groom?
I think this book ought to be titled This Is Why You Should Hate Me.
Take a bow, Uncle Palpy. Very good.
Pimp Demon, thanks for the kroner. For those who didn't get it, Jeff is emo and old.
That's what I'm feeling.
Thank you. Could you explain it? Could you dumb it down a little? Could you explain the joke even further? Perhaps with another donation.
Renita Chan, thanks for the $4.99. Yay! Let's see if you can make me snort in the middle of astronomy class. Also, I swim. It is a life skill. No swimmer brain is dead. No swimmer is brain dead, or else they die.
Yeah, you need to remember to keep moving, wouldn't you?
I always do forget. I used to be a swimmer. I wanna be
Athletes
back into-
aren't by nature stupid. Again, the like my personal trainer is a smart guy. The guy I used to work out with before he moved away went to the same grammar school as me. Like, being an athlete doesn't mean you're stupid.
No.
I'm not an athlete, but like I say, I lift weights as a hobby, and I'm friends with some athletes who are very clever. Some of them are far more intelligent than I am.
Mario Master 456, thanks for the $1.99. I can't wait for Greg to get mugged.
One day.
Now, Toby,
No.
I wonder if you might take over for a moment while I could eat this handful of wild berry Skittles.
You can, But while I do that, I'm just going to promote my Twitch channel because I'm going to start streaming. It's my channel again, taking over.
I'm going to start promoting my OnlyFans.
No, God, no. I'm never going to do that. Jesus, unless.
OnlyFans is an interesting place. I've now seen Nikocado Avocado's anus.
What? I know. Okay, let's just not talk about that at all. What I was going to say about this story, first of all, is this character, this kid. I'm going to call him a kid. Just reminds me. Have you ever seen Harry Enfield and Chums?
You mean what's it? Fuck, I can't remember the kid's name.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Kevin and Perry. It's basically Kevin and Perry. I'll say he's even more emo than the.
Well, kind of not that one, but there's a sketch in it where one of the kids basically like, oh, what are you doing there, son? I'm evicting these people because they're behind their bills. I want to be a bailiff when I grow up. And he just looks really worried. Literally what this kid is, just the most depressed son of a bitch. Anyway, so let's move on. Oh, hang on, I'm going to read some super chats because I'm here. I am the channel for a minute. I'm enjoying this. So, Emperor Crimson, thank you very much for the $5. Onision would say, it takes a high IQ to understand the sex appeal of children. Okay, I'm glad to get that out loud.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that one on the record.
And Daniel Giovanniello, that's great pronunciation by me, says a Toby Mitchell OnlyFans would just be him seductively eating frozen waffles. Okay, let's move
I'm
on.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that is not lemonade.
So, but some madmen setting of a weapon in a stadium. What does one insect killing a bunch of other insects really accomplish? Nothing. There will always be more bugs to fill the gap, to continue the endless infestation and consumption of all the world's natural resources. I can hate the people
Natural.
in this world.
Toby Mitchell 2021.
I can hate the people in this world, and take satisfaction in the thought of them dying. But as I remain unwilling to do anything about their lives, as there is simply no point, our lives are all pointless. To end a life is no easy task. You can trigger, and in the physical sense, that's one of the simplest things you can do. But I am not a sociopath.
Lies?
These are lies. These are filthy, filthy lies.
Just fucking hard cut to Adam. Just, these are lies.
To end a life is no easy task. You can pull the trigger and then but I'm not a sociopath.
I'm sitting here daydreaming
Blowing up a stadium full of people
about weapons of mass destruction going off. Stadiums full of people just trying to, enjoy themselves. But I'm not a sociopath.
No siree. No siree, Bob.
Also, not just the character, but the author is certainly a sociopath.
You said, wait, Jacob, he's not a sociopath because when he blows up a stadium full of people, he'll get an erection. So he's a pervert instead.
Oh, that's
worse.
That's much worse.
That's way worse.
Did you just call me a liar? No, I said you were fired.
Oh, that's much worse.
I'm not so stupid. I can't see what a coward I am. I struggle with my will to live as is. Spilling blood on my hands would only give me another reason to duct tape a plastic bag around my head and walk off the ledge of a building. Because that's the simplest way to do
I feel
it.
like you don't need to do both of those things.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's overkill.
yeah, I'm feeling really depressed. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to close up all the windows in my car and feed carbon monoxide in. And while it's doing that, I'm going to shoot myself.
Wait a
And then
second.
he'll ring comments. I can't believe you killed yourself.
Twice.
I can't believe you committed suicide.
He's going to try and kill himself in like 27 ways possible. So he's going to like take all these pills, put this bag around his head, try and knock himself out, and while he's throwing himself off a building and also trying to hang himself. Why not?
It's like some sort of weird comedic sketch where he like steps on a banana peel. It's just...
God, I just can't stop. My life is so pointless, but it makes me sick. Living in general is so pointless, but dying serves no purpose either. So what do I do? Of course I follow the pack and wait until the clock stops ticking. none of this is
In
why
the
I'm
on the
updating.
previous page, wasn't he talking about how like driven and motivated he is?
Yeah.
A need to breed, you might say, Jacob.
You might say this is a very contradictory book.
You might say it's hot garbage.
You may say that.
I'll say calling it hot garbage is too nice. This is like fucking like left on the side of the pavement garbage. It's all cold and manky.
Now, what it is actually is that when you empty a bin, it's the garbage water that collects at the bottom of the bin.
Now, guys, to coin a phrase, to employ a little wordplay here, you might call it the worst book of all time, if you know what I mean.
I get it.
If you
I like to like this book gets actual published in proper, not like on the internet, but
get what I'm
and it's
coming
got Gemma's quote on the back, like this is garbage water, and that was like the best quote they could find from the back of it.
So there's the least insulting review of this book is garbage water collected at the bottom of a black bag.
Some Scottish person from the internet, like, was that the best you could find? Yes, it was the best we could find.
So like the reviews, if I was being kind, I'd say they were a mixed bag. What do you mean mixed bag? Best one was The Guardian. What did they say? They didn't review it. Come on, Toby, let's finish this page.
For this page, okay. None of this is why I'm updating my journal. Ironically, despite my murderous imagination, I've managed to find myself in a completely contradictory position. The truth is, I recently started dating a girl at school named Ashley. Oh god, here we fucking go. I know what you might be thinking. Who wants to be the voice of this?
The voice of the audience.
Oh yeah, go on then.
I suppose, how's the audience feeling while they read this? Ah! Arthur! No, I'm not going to do that. Arthur, you've done nothing but hate on the entire human species up to this point. Why would you date one of them?
The honest answer is she clearly likes me, and I'm available.
Okay. Fuck. Right, what kind of troglodyte would like this person? I'm genuinely curious.
Also, like, that's a really sort of like, oh, I absolutely hate humanity, but, if one's available, like, okay, so that's not the same reason, like, a bunch of flies are flying around your head. I don't like flies. Flies, like...
My absolute least favourite food in the world is chicken. I hate chicken. But, I'm not particularly hungry, but someone left this bargain bucket here. And so I ate the entire thing.
It's only half filled in a bag full of garbage water, so...
Yeah. Basically, this character I've just made up has an eating disorder, and we should probably feel bad for them.
But not Greg. Not Greg's character. We should not feel bad for him.
Contempt. Only feel contempt.
Yeah, but despite the fact that he's been whining about how crappy the human race is, and no one is, doing anything worthwhile, and I can't stand humans, but I am incredibly fucking thirsty.
Come on, Toby, only one more paragraph.
I know. Ashley has been in my third period class for some time now. There's a reason she's laughed at every other thing I've said in the class. It's more than evident she likes me, because I rarely talk, and when I do, what I'm saying isn't funny, but yet she still finds it amusement. I can't, this fucking sentence, sorry. It's more than evident she likes me because I rarely talk, and when I do, what I'm saying isn't funny, but yet she still finds amusement in every other sentence and regularly smiles at me.
All right, we'll call that the end of the page there.
Yes.
Because obviously the sentence carried on. And we'll do another super chat break, because quite a few came in during that page.
All right, thank you very much, Bioman12, for the $1.99. Can't wait to save that audio clip, Toby.
I can't remember what he said now.
No.
Pimp Demon, thanks for the 20 kroner. The joke is Jeff is an old emo coal mine. Here's money. Thank you. Willie, thanks for the £5. Wait, this book's called This Is Why I Hate You, and Greg owns a banana costume.
Yeah.
And Willie again for the thanks for the £2. Excuse the extra apostrophe in my last super chat.
didn't have to donate £2 to say that. I didn't have the extra apostrophe. But you know
We're
what?
literally
Why not?
selling forgiveness at this point.
PowerPointropolis, thanks for the $6.99. Your life makes everyone else sick too, Greg. And Emperor Crimson, thanks for the $5. I feel like Onision could have easily become Elliot Roger.
Absolutely, and not just this character, but like the real Onision. Had he never gotten famous, probably would have like shot up. Where did he shoot? It was like a mall or something.
Yeah, something like that. And thank you very much to Jay Corbett for the 159.99 Australian bucks. I have been a fan.
I've turned into a horse. I'm so impressed with that.
I've been a fan since I Hate You. Thanks for all the laughs over the years, BCP gang. I haven't listened to part 1 yet, but I'm sure this book is a sweaty bowl of soy, grease, and onions.
It certainly
It is. What's this character's name? This chap who's just done that?
Jay Corbett.
Jay Corbett. Well, Jay, thank you very much for the extremely generous donation. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
And you haven't missed a lot. This book is, well, as I said, the worst thing I've ever read. Well, the worst thing I've ever read so far. It seems that the longer I live, the more disappointments I encounter in not just in the world of literature, but in day-to-day life. So this book is, and I do use the term book extremely loosely. This is the worst one yet,
And,
but there will probably be worse one day.
You can say with certainty that is the worst book you've read this year.
Well, yes,
Uh-huh.
all the way back.
but it's
in
also
whatever
the
season it was.
best book I've read this year. So
Thank you
It
very
will
much,
get
Daniel
worse.
Giovaniello. Thanks for the $5 US bucks. Because you said you were selling forgiveness, have your indulgences, your eminence. Thank you very
it's
much.
funny because Catholicism is a joke. Ashley is a good-looking girl.
So it was like, these guys are more appreciative than Twitch streamers.
Everyone's more appreciative than Twitch streamers.
Yes.
Let's be honest. I could say fuck you to every person that gave a donation. I'd still be more appreciative than a Twitch streamer. I'm sorry, you've given me only $100? You cheapskates.
God, imagine
Now excuse me while I lay spider eggs out of my anus. I don't go on Twitch, so I just assume they're all demons. I don't know for certain.
Pim Demon, thanks for the 20 kroner. What about
They
dating
play
game? Isn't that
Fortnite
more
all the time,
awful?
so yes.
That's not a book. I mean,
Dating
this
game.
barely is a book, but of the actual, like, quote-unquote novels I've ever read, this is the worst one so far.
One question. Is Ashley underage? We don't know yet.
so
But
I'm
most
just,
likely.
Well,
watching- sorry.
let's have a think, because the main character's 17, isn't he?
Right.
So, in order for that to be okay, she's really got to be between 16 and 18.
Yeah.
He's not gonna
So
find
let's pay attention to what her
Also-
age is going to be. Let's
also-
place bets now, guys, in the chat. Like, how old do you think Ashley's going to be?
Also, I'm going to take this into consideration. Depending if this is set in Washington, where Onision is from, what is the age of consent
I
in
was
Washington?
Gemma just cracks out her notebook. Like, right, guys, now I've done some research on statutory rape laws in America. My fucking hell, Gemma.
We didn't ask you to. Why? Why are you in a lawyer suit? What's he doing?
So why is Chris Hansen here?
Someone's saying,
Like,
a lot of
Gemma's
people are
been
saying
working
15,
a part-time, she's been
17,
working on the case.
a fetus. Someone,
Sorry,
I think, someone called Not Matt 42. I wonder who that is. Said 11.
Ashley is a good-looking girl. She is pale-skinned, short, brunette. I really like her smile too. If that wasn't enough, my body. Okay.
What?
Like most every male body on this planet, demands I be physical with someone. So why not her?
What a really disturbing way
Yeah.
to describe I want sex.
My body demands I be physical with someone. This is taking me back to last week when we talked about the milk.
Data?
This is milk from a human female. The green top indicates it is good.
But,
No one speaks like that.
This is the human condition. We build illusions around our lives. Love, friendship, and family. We think we take part in these aspects of life because we want to, as if any of it is truly a product of authentic free will. If I were a robot...
woman in a bar, sorry, just to interject there, and just to say, you ever gone up to her and just said, "Hey, baby, you want to reproduce?"
I thought, what video was it? I know I already told you guys my pickup line, which is the "Baby, are you a school? Because I want to shoot kids inside of you," and it never worked.
It might be one of the stones to Abigail's. Also, do you think that would it be better or worse if at the end of this book it turned out that Onion Boy's self-insert wasn't aliens? That explains, like, it's some sort of surprise Neil Breen ending.
I actually think that somehow Neil Breen has less of an ego than Onision. It's amazing to me that there's someone in the world with a bigger ego than Neil Breen, but I think we found him.
Oh, not to go fast, but do you say the commentary for, what was it, Double Down somewhere?
Somewhere, yeah. It's on a memory stick somewhere. I've got about 100 memory sticks in like a little plastic cup. It's in one of those.
It's a cute plastic cup.
It is. If I were a robot that had the ability to learn and reflect on my
No,
existence,
you are a robot.
I might have a
We're certainly
chance
not
of
human.
free will. Without desires or bodily influences. Me choosing to be with someone despite there being no clear advantage to my programming, operations or physical body. I could argue the connection with them was legitimate. This, I'm just thinking now of Isaac from the Orville.
Yes.
Yeah, when he like falls in love. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yeah, my programming doesn't function properly when you're not around. So what you're saying is, you don't work as well without me.
And
That's what I'm getting here. Except that was more human.
yep.
The robot from the race of emotionless, racist machines. More human than Greg. Watch the Orville, everyone, in the chat.
Yes.
You should. Operations or physical body. I could argue the connection with them was legitimate. Now humans? We don't choose to be lonely or to have these desires. So how can we pretend free will was ever an option? Truth is, the game was rigged from the start. Free will is the ability to act on one's own discretion. Discretion is the ability to decide what should and should not be done. For example, you should not write this book. How can you make your own decisions when really your body is most all... I hate the way he does this. Most always.
Most always.
Most always. Most everyone. He does this. It's such an irritating idiosyncrasy. And he's writing as a different character, but he did it in Stones to Absterthoth as well.
Yeah.
When your body's always doing that for you.
Like Vince 12's super chat's brilliant.
Well, we'll read the super chats at the end of the page. If I had free will, I could choose to be gay. Okay, I don't think any gay man would sleep with you. I could choose to be happy when I looked in the mirror. I could choose to enjoy life to its fullest. But I can't. I have a war going on in my mind. Likely because I'm 17, and no doubt rapidly developing mentally. Teenagers like me are key examples of these influences destroying our free will.
That's not how free will works. Ba-ba-ba.
They leave us in shackles.
It was your album, That's Not How Free Will Works, coming soon to iTunes and various stores.
Jesse, stop playing That's Not How Free Will Works by Gemma Mill, and you're scaring the host. Most of us are too stupid to know they're there. I would admire their bliss if it weren't paired with their undeniable mental inferiority. R/I am very intelligent. Alright, you know what time it is. That's right, it's past Super Chat. Let's go.
Dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
Thank you, Gemma, for the Super Chat jingle. It's not... We haven't guaranteed that's going to be the Super Chat jingle. We're still working on one.
Alright, Matthew Perry, thanks very much for the $5 Canadian bucks. As a man who likes tall women, I must say Onision is cringe. I wonder if he's done anything else worthy of criticism.
As a man who also enjoys the company of tall women, I will say based.
Uncle Palpy, £2, thanks very much. At least we know why one Ashley disappeared now.
Rip.
And Vince 12, thanks very much for the $2. Onision is a gentrified candy man. Be my victim.
Oh no! Please, no.
Willie.
Somebody could wash that out of my brain for me. I would appreciate that.
And Willie, thanks for the £2. Arthur/Greg/Onionfart is Agent Smith confirmed. And thanks very much, Some English Bloke, for the £5. Why does he sound disappointed? I thought he enjoyed limiting teenagers' free will.
Fuck me.
So I was just looking at what Jay Corbett's been putting in the chat. Someone asked him, was like, "That's a lot of money, nice, MC Darius." And he was just like, "I simp for BCP." Fair play, dude. Fair play.
BCP only fans when?
Never.
Never. When the money dries up, what are you gonna do?
Thanks everybody for joining. I'm gonna stick this cactus up my butt. I know what people do on OnlyFans. I think cactuses go in rectums.
Oh, thanks very much for Nisa Chan for the $4.99. Check your Discord when he starts talking about how he'd love any kids he'd had. I have Cobe's phone, but he'll check his Discord after. Thank you very much, Mickey Kelly, for the $4.99. How much money do I have to throw at you, at whoever, to get Neil Breen and Onision to make a movie together?
I mean, certainly not at us. We're in no position to make that magic happen.
But you can throw a lot of money at us if you want, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we'll certainly give it the old college try.
Yeah. We won't promise to try, but we'll try to try.
I can at least get Vitaly Versace, because at least I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Or, like, if you give us enough money, we can't promise Neil Breen or Nishon, but we can get our we can get Toby and for certain Nicolas Cage.
Now, my friends, I need to take a moment. For those of you who do not follow me on Instagram, I am Facebook pals, buddies, chums with Chris Bors, who posted some incredibly weird shit today on Facebook. So, this is what Chris Bors put out on his Facebook page, Ghost Doctor, this morning.
Ghost Doctor.
Yep, this is a direct quote from Chris Bors.
So you're going to say it in his voice, right?
Spiritual forces have given me foresight about tomorrow, and the events that transpire will help usher in this paranormal pandemic I've been warning about. People like myself are going to be very busy during this next cycle, so get ready, folks. Tomorrow is going to be a doozy.
So...
What?
So
clearly he's all drunk on caveman semen.
So both Chris's think there's some sort of dimensional merge going on?
Effectively, yes. And they were both in Shrek Retold. Coincidence? Almost definitely. Thank you, Sam, for the $2 lizard. Appreciate that. Smooth moves. Anyway, back to the... So yes, Chris Bors has gone fucking mental. I don't know who saw that coming, but he's completely gone Chris Chan.
So he thinks there's some sort of ghost apocalypse like the end of that shitty Ghostbusters film happening tomorrow or something.
Yes, and he's been calling it the paranormal pandemic. Was COVID-19 ghosts?
Are we just haunted by like? Yeah, it's like you,
it wasn't
it's
not
like
ghosts.
A shitty movie. It's not a disease. It's a haunting. See, when you like, what happens is because people are sneezing. It's not because they're spreading germs. It's because they're not saying "God bless you" and having the ghosts shoot back up into their nose.
That's why I don't get COVID, because I always remember my manners when somebody sneezes.
Just this for this last one. Thank you, Uncle Palpy, for the £2. He went with Ghost Doctor and not Dr. Boo.
Go to Punjab.
I mean, you should him stunning, right? No.
Oh, and oh yeah, you better.
Ashley is a product of my imprisonment. Well, I mean, fucking hell, Greg, don't just come out and admit it right now. I've got her chained up in the basement. I literally have...
Every now and then in the game we make these jokes about how, like, you know, he says this and you can be, you know, because things he doesn't realize. But at times like this, it's like, is he like leaving fucking clues like the Riddler? What the fuck?
Perhaps deep down, Greg wants to be caught.
Yeah.
Like, he feels guilty, but he doesn't have the strength to stop committing horrible sex crimes. So he's like, I need to be caught. But he also hasn't got the strength to just turn himself in. So he's been leaving clues in his literature these past dickety 7 years.
The Diddler.
The Diddler.
That's far funnier than she's the fiddler. Ashley is a product. Okay, I literally have millions of little potential human lives screaming within me to impregnate her as soon as humanly possible.
What a
Your
way to
knowledge
say
of
sperm.
your knowledge of biology is like staggeringly bad.
Just these little tiny sperm tadpoles screaming.
If we were to reproduce,
He's either doesn't understand biology or he's actually crazy and he's blaming the sperm. I hear these voices. They're screaming at me constantly. Why they come to me to die? It must be the sperm in my balls screaming at me.
Greg, you gotta do it, Greg. You gotta chain that girl up in the basement.
Yes, that's his defense. It wasn't me. I was driven to it. My sperm yelled at me to do it.
Everyone's going, no,
You-
no.
You guys know that? Does anybody in the chat remember, or anybody on the call for that matter, remember Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare?
Yes.
I am going somewhere with this,
Right.
right? There's a part in that movie where Freddy in the past is visited by like flying demon worms. That, but sperm.
Oh.
So instead of demon worms, demon sperm. Just flying straight at my boy Greg. It's like, Greg, we will give you power. Power to molest kids. This is what I'm getting at.
In exchange for your soul, we will give you the power to molest kids. Like, okay, I'll take it. Wow, you really took that one easy.
I mean,
We didn't have to like trick him or anything. You just came out and
it's not even really a power.
yeah. We'll give you the power to overpower younger people younger than you. Okay, sucker.
If we were to reproduce, I would no doubt love. I like that love is, in quotations as well, the children. Oh, bloody hell. The children she produced. This is, of course, because if I didn't love them, then they would be less likely to effectively survive. If our species collectively lost love for children, our species itself would begin to die off. Wow, profound, Greg. This is so fucking deep. We would leave our children in the streets to die, like China. We wouldn't.
R/I'm14 and this is deep.
We wouldn't feed them, or at times even risk our safety for them, because we weren't pre-programmed to care. Free will? It's a joke so ridiculously personal you can't even laugh. All most of us do is pretend we never got slammed with the reality of our true condition. Learn to write so we can continue believing the lie that is freedom.
Yeah, if you had free will, you could probably go to a writing class or something like that.
Or you could have
Possibly,
chosen
let alone
not
say.
to publish this particular journal of yours.
Yeah, you're implying that no decisions you do that you make matter. So you can't just go to the toilet if you need the toilet, or you can't vote fairly in a democratic election and not have it stolen. You reading this right now will think about your little life in response to this information. You may even admit how insignificant it is, but what will you do then? Nothing. You'll barely remember these words in a week, maybe even as soon as 12 hours from now.
Maybe even seconds after we finish reading.
We do this so we can continue existing without disrupting seemingly endless years' worth of evolution. You don't think there was a fail-safe put in your brain to deal with the possibility that you might actually realize one day that it's all for nothing? Any more super chats to read?
Yes.
Is the next line "Wake up, sheeple"?
It's that one, yeah?
Yeah, no, there's a couple after this one, but I thought you'd go with that one because of the...
Riker! Why was Onion Boy not a member of Channel Awesome? He'd be perfect for it, seeing as he's a sexual predator and makes garbage content. I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah, and we've got Willie, thanks for the £2. Nick Cage to star in the Stones to Abigail movie.
He can play Rick.
No, we agreed, if you're a part of the Discord and you've done the movie nights, you'll know this. We agreed that Reb Brown is the only actor capable of playing Rocket Fist Rick.
We've got PowerPoint
He
Tropolis,
can
thanks for
play
the
Rick's
$6.99.
mustache.
Ashley is a product of my imprisonment. Now that's a Freudian slip if I've ever seen one. Phantom Glide, thanks for the $5 Australian bucks. Nick Cage plays Rocket Fist Rick. And Matthew Williams, thanks for the £5. Both his writing skills and dating preferences never left high school.
Fucking rip.
What a burn. I like that.
Yeah, Pimp Demon, thanks for 20 kroner. So that's how the town disappeared, you monster. And Uncle Palpy, thanks for the £2. Greggy's dead, the final state line.
State line.
And thanks again, Phantom Glide, for the $5. Learn to write. No, Jacob. Encourage him never to write again. In fact, go back in time and break his hands. Will the movie nights be coming back anytime soon? Yes.
Yes, we've talked a little bit about this, and when I have an evening free that isn't being spent streaming, we'll do another movie night.
Yeah, it's going to be Cage we're going to be doing next.
Yeah. I've watched Cage quite recently, so I kind of want to forget it a bit before I watch it again.
Yeah.
I saw Dreads the other day. Never seen it before, as I said to you, Jacob. Have you not seen it, have you? But
No.
You said, no, but it's the raid.
Yeah.
I have it. I've seen it, and I've said that Jacob might like it. What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it, and yes, it does have shades of the raid, but it is a good film in its own respect.
I will give it a chance. I think there were two reasons I didn't see it, really. Aside from that it did look a lot like The Raid, which is already perfect. But one is that when it came out, it was only in 3D. And I don't like 3D movies. They make me dizzy. And second of all, I really don't like Carl Urban. So, yeah.
You kind of forget it's Carl Urban.
Well, you can't see his face, can you?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Carl Urban at all.
Pimp Demon
I remember
says,
you
can
saying
I
that when it
cut?
was coming. I was like, oh, you can see
Thanks
Dread.
for
Like,
the
oh, I
20
don't like
corner.
Carl Urban.
We're just animals. That's a fact. We're holding out in hopes that someday we will evolve into something that might actually offer value to the universe. Aside from being self-aware as to how trivial and generic my increasing feelings for Ashley are, I've already begun to gratify myself to her.
What?
I think he means jack off.
Right, okay.
I regularly imagine unleashing inside her,
Ugh.
having kids with her, and I actually feel authentic admiration for such an outcome.
Why are you thinking about this at 17, you freak?
Sometimes
No, right?
I think about her.
I actually feel ill.
Sometimes I think about her begging me to impregnate her. That mere notion ignites arousal in both my body and mind.
That is
Not saying
Onion
like Larry
writing
was
himself
Suddenly-
because
suddenly
he is
everything
turned on by
just
that fact.
disappears.
Yeah, because this. I know that this is supposed to be a diary he's writing as a character, but you're absolutely right. He is known to have a breeding fetish.
Mm-hmm.
I am such a puppet of biological programming, and so are all of you. Bold if you do assume there'll be multiple people reading this. Ashley's
This is one of
voice.
the most exposure his fucking book's ever gotten.
Ashley's voice is one I could easily enjoy listening to for some time. Her facial proportions are beyond sufficient, and she's generally healthy, likely more so than me.
Sufficient.
This guy writes like a proper incel. Have you ever seen those incel forums where they like talk about bone structure all the time and weird shit like that?
God.
And like the hip to waist ratio? What I like most about Ashley is that she has very few beliefs. Just like I do.
Like age of consent.
Yeah. Morality is
Consent in
like,
general.
do you believe murder is wrong? Do you have any thoughts on stealing? I don't really believe in nothing.
She sounds like an interesting person.
She
She sure sounds like someone I can have a really interesting conversation with.
Out of her, I wanna.
Are you sure like Ashley isn't just an inflatable doll that he's just made up?
She has very few beliefs. In fact, none at all. She is not sentient. You may ask yourself, as
It's like Warren from Buffy
yeah,
with like the robot girl.
where is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself as to how I could say I don't have many beliefs when it's pretty clear I've been expressing a number of opinions since the beginning of this journal. The blunt truth is most everything I say, the activities in my life and my mentality are all in some way based, significantly, on facts. Facts are the enemy of beliefs. Fucking Ben Shapiro over here. Okay, let's just say that the more you base your beliefs on fact, the fewer traits they share with opinions. The more I learn, the more what I believe turns into what I know.
My wife's a doctor.
Okay, folks. Let's just say that the sea levels rise by 10 feet. Let's say 20 feet. Let's say all that happens. Don't you think those people would just sell their homes and move?
Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman.
Now, before I end this chapter, I'd like to mention this wet-ass P-word. I'd like to mention something I went through last week with Ashley. There's this guy, John. He hangs out with the jocks at our school. I'm fairly certain I'm going to beat the living hell out of him. Yeah, good luck. Due to what Ashley recently told me about him. According to
You
her,
grab her ass and then you fucking
Ah,
send
for
them out
fuck's-
for a few chapters.
why is it that like all the girls that Greg's interested in are victims of sexual violence? Not at the hands of the main character. I mean, that's real life. But in these stories, the object of his affection is always getting groped by jocks. Thus far, this is basically Stones to Abigail, but with a much more edgy protagonist.
Yeah. Like, someone's like, now let's just say hypothetically, you're daddy's little girl.
According to her, during school, she was walking to her next class and he put his hands on her hips to stop so they could talk. He didn't have anything much to say to her, so it was obvious what he was doing was purely inspired by perverted intentions. He's a teenage boy going through a lot of physical changes. That's no excuse to put your hands on a woman. All right, now, Greg, take that statement and apply it to a grown man.
I suppose we should reach the end of this episode and then do the super chats because it's just a few paragraphs. Makes sense.
Alright, so we had Pimp Demon earlier. Thanks very much, 20 for 20 kroner for Can I Come? Yeah, the movie nights are on Discord. PowerPoint Tropolis, thanks for the $6.99. If you want to watch a really good movie for movie night, check out Stan and Ollie.
Oh, we don't watch good movies.
Yeah, watch bad movies.
What is actually no? Stan and Ollie's not a good movie, is it?
It's meant to be good.
Oh, is it? I'm thinking of something else.
That's Holmes and Watson, you mean?
No, I'm not thinking of Holmes and Watson.
Oh, you're thinking
I
of
heard
Holmes
you
and
think-
Watson?
Yeah, yeah.
How the fuck?
I think because the only reason I said that is because I think both John C. Reilly's in both of those movies.
No, we don't watch good movies on movie nights, like ever. The best movie we've watched, genuinely, the best, highest quality we've watched is Howling 2, Sturbo Werewolf Bitch. It's the best film we've watched so far.
That's a statement.
Or maybe Strike Commando. No, Howling 2 is a better film than Strike Commando.
Howling 2 is at least a film.
Yeah, Strike Commando, I don't really know what that is, but fuck if it isn't entertaining.
It's brilliant, though. Yeah.
Now I realise how primitive it is for me to mark my territory, so to speak, just pissing on her. Please stop that.
What was it he says? Like, it tastes like urine, smells worse.
Yeah.
To my ex-girlfriend now.
Yeah, just like, hey, does that smell like kombucha? I was like, are you repulsed? I have no feelings on the matter. I thought not, Ashley. You don't believe in anything. Thinking of the
How
nihilist.
you made me!
I'm just thinking of the nihilists from the Big Lebowski. Don't worry about it, Onision. This girl's a nihilist. She doesn't believe in anything. To try and solve your... It's also primitive to try and solve your problems with physical fights. But that's not why I'm going on about this. Many human beings are saturated with violent and perverse thoughts. Men especially. This feels like Chris Chan now. On average, the male gender regularly desires copulating with other human beings. Right, what do you mean on average? And then you don't give it like a number? So what do you mean by that? These human beings are often females who appear to be capable of bearing children.
Who appear to be capable of bearing children.
Well, you don't know, do you? John putting his hands on my girlfriend was about more than the single physical act. He took his common desires and thrust them upon someone without an invitation. Essentially, he sexually assaulted her. Ashley did not ask for that. Yes, she didn't consent. It's sort of like, Greg, when someone isn't old enough to consent and you use your power over them. When I have violent or perverted thoughts, mostly about children, I express them in this journal, or I go out and act on them. I don't go out and grope people. There is no rational justification for it.
I just hide them in my basement.
Instead, I kid myself that that children can consent. John made one of the biggest mistakes he'll likely ever make. He broke the wall of civility and turned his hormone-driven thoughts into action. I feel I should show him what it's like when people don't keep their physical desires to themselves. My girlfriend was clearly not interested in being touched, but in violating her right, he asked everyone who cares about Ashley to violate his. Thank you for giving me an excuse, John. Chapter 3. Crying at my feet!
These wounds, they will not heal. Get it? Heal. Feet.
Aha.
So, that's the end of Chapter 2. Good evening, I'm racist and I love feet.
Alright, I'm gonna...
Sorry, I'm going to be playing Doge in the movie. So I'm just researching at the moment.
Thank you for the $5, Crystal the Echidna Meow.
Hey, I know who that is. See, sometimes I do know who these people are.
Ah.
We used to chat a lot and then stopped.
All right. Okay.
Welcome back.
Okay, you have to choose between kissing Chris Chan on the lips or Onion Chan.
Oh, this is why we stopped talking.
There's no other options to escape death. Hope you're both well.
Chris Chan or Onision? Is it like post like trans fucking complete mental case Christine or classic Chris? That might change my answer.
Pimp Demon, thanks for the 20 kroner. Wait, Johnny Toppler. Oh my, Toby likes lemon. And thanks very much for the 4.99, Renita Chan. He only goes after victims of abuse because he views them as easier to manipulate.
That just got fucking really real, didn't it?
Yeah. And thank you very much, PowerPointropolis, for the 5.49 Canadian bucks. This part just became Greg's autobiography. Oh, trans Chris.
Trans Chris has really got that like sweaty, crazy energy. Like I know Chris never really had good hygiene, but Christine, as she is now, looks to me much sweatier and dirtier than classic Chris. So I think I'm gonna go with Onision. I assume we all have to answer. Gemma.
Can you come back? I'll answer at the end.
So
Toby.
What? We got to kiss someone.
You gotta kiss either Chris Chan, but like Chris Chan as she is now, or Onision.
No. Oh yeah, I'll take Onision. Jesus Christ! I mean, I'm not being funny, but yeah, I'll take Onision.
Matt.
Is biting your tongue off and choking to death in the blood an option?
No, the person who super chatted said there are no other options.
It's just the power of, I love the way you always refuse to answer these questions. This is not the first time we've cornered Matt with one of these questions, and he just refused to answer. He's coming up with a third answer, which is not an option.
When have we ever done this sort of thing? Never.
Can I give one of them a Glasgow kiss?
No.
Damn it.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
Right, I'd probably say Greg because me kissing him would be disgusting because I'm tall.
Oh yes, so it's like an act of power over him.
Yes.
That's nice.
I'll say Greg because I know what Christine looks like, but I don't like all this time we've been talking about fucking Greg and Onision and stuff like that. I don't know shit about him. Everything I know about him I've learned from these readings of these books, which, not positive, but I don't know what he looks like. But I do know what fucking Chris Chan looks like now, so...
Yeah.
Onision looks like emo kid from the 1990s.
But if an emo kid... But, like, he doesn't look like an emo kid. He looks like a person who was an emo kid in the 90s and he's now in his 40s.
Yeah, but still dresses like an emo kid.
Does he dress like a banana?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yes.
No, I'm saying, but when you kiss him, will he be dressed like a banana?
I assume so, yes.
Wait. So someone's like, Pimp Demon, thanks very much for the 50 kroner. Wait, so you become immortal as long as you don't kiss them?
That's a good shout, yeah. If death isn't an option. That's the best deal ever. You become immortal and you don't have to kiss Chris Chan or Onision.
Wait, so am I going to be immortal for the rest of my life?
Like you got a horror movie where you can't kill the vampire unless he kisses Onision.
Did you just say, am I going to be immortal for the rest of my life? Yeah, Gemma, everyone's immortal for the rest of their life.
Oh.
Once they die,
You thought you were just going to get the fuck away with that one, did you?
Yeah.
It's the thing that I would say, because I'm stupid.
Yeah, so there's rare opportunities where Toby's like, ha-ha! Was it like last week when Matt said something dumb and Toby just bounced on him?
I did. I absolutely did.
It's like,
I
the thrill, the fact that it wasn't me.
No immortality.
On purpose.
Yeah, Crystal has said no immortality. So, Matt, you must choose.
But I did.
You definitely chose Greg then, yeah? Or
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, everybody chose Greg in the end.
Yeah.
That's so fucking sad for
Which is
Chris.
probably the best compliment we could give.
Also,
Imagine being such a
Jeffrey
mess
would
that
kiss
everyone
Chris
would
Chan
rather
as he
kiss
was.
Onision than you.
Well, I'm using it as a power play, so... I think I'm getting the easy way out here.
Alright, should we read another chapter or should we call it a night? What do you want to do?
Toby
we've
bounced
been
on
doing
him, you
this
say?
about, an hour and 20 minutes. I think I looked at the next chapter doesn't seem to be as long as. Let's see, how many pages is it?
I guess we could do that.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's nice. I have 4 pages. I'll take the first couple if you want, Jacob.
Shall we read
Yes,
another
I've got
chapter?
4 pages.
Yeah, I'll read for a bit if you want as well.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna zoom out of the word feet now. I've made everyone in the chat uncomfortable.
God, have you just done that? Oh, dear, I'm not. Obviously, I want to
Yeah,
the stream.
literally just been like zoomed in on the word feet the whole time.
Yeah, Jacob, when you go to your Discord and just gonna loads of feet pics.
I mean, please no. Like, no, thank you.
I went to our Discord for the first time ever because you're talking about it. I was like, oh, we got a Discord. Oh, right, that's a thing. I looked at it. It was like, okay, so I need to put my age in this. Okay, why is that? Oh, I see. Why it's a picture of an animated trap with a finger up his own ass. Why is this on our Discord?
I don't know.
Scroll down.
To be fair, it is all kept in one room.
What is this?
There is a porno room which I would steer clear of, and I advise anybody else who joins to steer clear of it.
But why does it exist?
I don't know. I'm not in charge. Some other guy made the server. I'm not in fucking charge.
Give the people what they want, and apparently that's.
Yeah, apparently what they want is dick girls.
Hey.
And lots of them. So apparently most of our fan base is made up of Linkara. Yeah, alright, so chapter 3, Crying at My Feet.
The last entry I made reflected on probably one of the dumbest things I was about to do. Obviously, getting yourself into a physical fight is a mistake when you look at the grand scheme of things, but to say I really had a fair choice in the matter is a joke. The sun hadn't even risen yet. Our decrepit school was filthy and falling apart, as if the walls were composed of maggot-infested flesh and bone. As I approached John, I could hear the cracked tiles staining under my weight. It was immediate after the first period had ended when we crossed paths. Only my path ended upon locating him. I skipped class so I would not miss him walking to his next class. I specifically chose the section of school where he had physically touched my girlfriend before. I said, John, you ready to hurt? John.
Terrifying.
What?
Like the most badass words ever spoken by man.
Okay, now I'm picturing veteran actor John Hurt as an elderly man, as the jock, and it definitely makes him not intimidating. I still don't think anything could beat him up.
John, are you ready to hurt?
Fuck.
John, no doubt, felt somewhat uncomfortable seeing these words come from the lips of someone who looks like me.
I would be super uncomfortable if someone yelled at me and the words came flying out of their mouth,
The next
like
line.
physically, and I could see them,
The next line, though.
because that would mean I had synesthesia.
It's like in Father Ted, lovely fags that come when he's having a smoke. Anyway, that's not good. I intentionally wore a trench coat and all black.
Intentionally?
I wanted to look like I was about to shoot up the school.
Earlier in the chat, I forgot to bring this up, but when he was basically about 50 minutes after we started reading, he said something that just reminded me of that fucking clip you showed me all these years ago of that guy with the fedora and trench coat with a katana going, "Killing zombies is my specialty."
Oh my god,
And
what a
that's
legend.
how I picture this guy.
What an absolute maverick. So, somebody in the chat was just like, pumped up kicks intensifies.
I'll run my gun.
Normally, I didn't wear the coat, but I wanted to make myself appear much larger than I was.
Like a cat.
I didn't want John to know I was a 5'9" manlet. So I wore platform heeled boots. And those jelly things you put in your shoe that you keep getting advertised for you on Facebook.
I don't know why, it just keeps reminding me. It reminds me of like Red Dwarf and Cat's like, now I'm gonna make myself look big.
I just love the idea. He's got this special novelty tie. He pulls it down, and like a little ruffle appears, like he's like that dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
So what you're saying is that Greg, when he's frightened, he backs into a corner and flares up all the loose skin around his neck.
Yes.
And spits venom at his enemies.
He wets himself to don't mess with me. I'm crazy. Oh god, he pissed himself.
And what he does actually is he spits existential, like faux existential facts at people.
It's just like, the way this guy talks is like, you ready to hurt? It's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? I keep forgetting the character's name. Arthur. It's Greg. What are you gonna do, Greg? Bore me to death.
I was thinking about this when I was re-listening to our thing from last week. I was like, I want to see this is his view on the world. I want to see he's going on about how his dad shit. I like the idea that his dad's like the nicest guy possible and like.
It's just Rick again.
Yeah. Like, basically sort of like that, and like he says this to this guy, and whatever happens next is in his imagination, and the guy's just like what? Nothing, and just walks off.
I think my favorite thing about Rick was when we decided he was like super accepting, but in an old-fashioned sort of way that was weird. So it's just like I was a bit nervous about meeting it, about coming out to my dad about being gay. He's like, so my stepdad, you're a homo, eh? Served with only your tribe in the Korean War. Damn fine fella. Do you know him? Johnson, his name was.
He liked the Johnsons as well.
Haha, we had a laugh.
His head blew up in Korea.
Just went, laugh until his brains landed in my face.
Hell of a war.
I killed some Viet Cong that day. It was Korean War, so it was a bit harder.
Oh yeah, the story.
This was a strategy I learned from
We
Butterfly.
keep making things up about Rick
This
and
was
not
the
go back to the
strategy I
story.
learned from fucking butterflies.
Kill yourself.
Oh yeah. This is a strategy I learned from butterflies. Creatures who literal.
Clearly, the most frightening and tough of animals. When I want to intimidate someone, first thing I think of is I think of the hummingbird.
It's like just Greg spreads his wings at his enemies. Like, what are you? Your worst nightmare.
Yeah. Holding a couple of blankets, like really ornate tablecloths, and just like,
He's gonna lift up his the tails of his fucking trench coat and hold it over his head like he's like trying to be Batman or something.
I emulate the hummingbird when I try to intimidate my enemies. I just flap my arms impossibly quickly and just sort of on my tiptoes and just.
Yeah, that was your second choice after your first choice as being that like trying to imitate the Kandiru really didn't work in a fight.
This is a strategy I learned from Butterfly. Creatures who
No, it's still funny.
Courtesan exists to scare away predators
And
such as
enchant
yourself.
children. It does make sense.
Seems fitting, of course. This man-child clearly likes taking advantage of creatures smaller than him.
Can anybody in the chat spell projection?
I know. Oh, damn. John tried to act like everything was cool, as one of his jock friends was standing right by him.
Clearly, he was
After
terrified by my.
On my 5'9" stature and vegetarian body.
Can we pretend he's been wearing, even though he's got his trench coat on, fedora tilted at a jaunty angle, but he's got like a big pair of butterfly wings, like he's like dressing up like a fancy dress party.
Yeah,
on his back, like a big sparkly pair of pink wings.
Yeah, it's like I've worn my most intimidating get-up, full like school shooter outfit, and yeah, just Halloween butterfly wings, and maybe some little dealy bopper antenna.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
You know what his thing about saying about the butterfly reminds me of? It's like he just read a fact somewhere. It's like oh, let's put a giant metal spider in this movie. Don't you know spiders are the most dangerous? Like that sort of thing.
So what you're saying is the publicist of this novel was John Peters.
Yeah. I want Greg to turn into a big metal spider.
At the same time, a high egg for the big metal spider.
I love the way everyone in the chat is spelling out projection, and then Draw Tunes has just gone pro Jared. I think that's fucking hilarious.
I give this book a broken marriage out of 10.
After taking a brief look into their eyes, it was obvious both of them thought their lives could be in danger.
Yeah, they assumed you had a gun.
Literally. This possibly was especially apparent, but considering all the things I might have been hiding under my long, black, tattered coat.
I mean, it's like you know, like Family Feud. Like number 1 is a gun. Number 2 is nothing at all, as in he's gonna flash him.
Nothing.
Look at my horrible sausage dick.
Yeah, I was just thinking things I might be hiding under my coat, such as my Bennis.
And that's the end of the page. So Gemma wants to read the super chats.
Okay, Uncle Octopus, thanks for
Okay, yeah, I was going to say let's finish this next page because we've already started it, but yeah, we'll do super chats.
Uncle Octopus, thanks for the $4.99. Why do so many lol cows
Why do
believe
birds?
in different dimensions? And why did 2020 not end in the dimensional merge? I need my boy Magic-chan.
I desperately wanted the dimensional merge.
Same.
Because obviously we all knew it was bollocks, but there was a part of me that thought, wouldn't it be great if? It was just like, look, if the universe could just throw us a fucking bone, and more importantly, throw Chris Chan a bone, and just have it all be real.
Yeah. Cowboytropolis, thanks very much for the...
Solitude comes down, everyone's looking up like, what the fuck? And there's just Christian going, I was right!
Cowboytropolis, thanks for the $3.99. Someone's uncomfortable around Greg, shocking. Renita Chan, thanks for the $2.99. I could write better repartee when I was 15. Adam Wofford, thanks for the $2. Who are you? I'm the Mothman. Tremble in fear. Renita Chan, thanks for the $4.99. Hummingbirds were the symbol of Huitzilopochtli. Maybe? I think I managed that. The Aztec god of war. Try something less intimidating, Cobe. And Daniel Giovaniello, thanks for the $2. God willing, I will make an RPG about Rick. And I've got thank you, Jamie Dodgems, for the £2. He's just the monarch from the Venture Brothers. And thank you, Phantom Blind.
The Venture Brothers was intimidating.
Thank you, Phantom Glime, for the $5 Between the two, I would be more intimidated by Barry B. Benson than Butterfly Arthur.
Greg's not like, you know, like the B movie was too successful for Greg, so he has to do the Butterfly movie.
I'm kind of a badass. You know, I learned all my fighting moves from studying butterflies. They call me Utterly Butterly.
He floats like a butterfly.
And stings like a butterfly. Punch like a butterfly wearing boxing gloves.
What, Paul?
Greg, are you alright? I think I'm having a stroke.
Live as long as a butterfly. Just a few days.
Okay.
God willing.
So yes, sex life like a butterfly. He flights in when, you know, and has sex with something that can't really, you know, defend itself or move.
John swore at me.
Okay.
Calling me the popular emasculating word. So you mean fag, don't you? That's like, what's interesting is this is a guy who's basically talked about his breeding fetish, his desire to blow up a football stadium, but he won't write the word faggot.
I like the idea that he actually called himself, like, you know, it wasn't faggot. It was like, you cad. Something like an old-timey insult.
To be fair, Greg is so fucking old that back when he was at school, it was probably just like, he called me a scoundrel. Naturally, I was appalled, and we had to go to fisticuffs.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let that insult stand. Luckily, we both carried rapiers, which was the style at the time. And we settled it with a duel.
We keep going back in time until,
Get it? Because he's really fucking old.
Yeah, can we just keep going back in time with him until Greg is just literally just the Marquis de Sade?
Bring me more children. Yeah, Tobe, do you want to
He called him a scallywag.
carry on for a bit, mate?
Sure. John swore at me.
No good Nick.
John swore at me, calling me the popular emasculating word goth kids are normally subjected to.
He called him a bounder.
I punched him in his throat seconds after he spoke it.
Yay,
Now,
just assault someone.
I realise punching someone directly in the throat can do extensive damage to a person's neck. Neck damage carries the possibility of preventing further breathing. However, a punch
Oh,
to
thank
the
you for
head...
telling me how fucking throat works, Greg. I did not know.
However, a punch to the head, or even between the legs, can kill a man. Truth about our bodies is sad, but it's still reality. We humans are sensitive creatures. The blow I delivered to his throat shocked John's jock friend. That's a sentence. He looked like he wanted to help John, but I screamed, threatening to murder him, and he backed off.
I screeched autistically at him.
I specifically said...
And now this, hold on, Toby, because we've got a voice for Onision, remember?
Oh, yep, sorry.
I'll stab you in the jugular and watch you bleed, meathead.
Oh wait, so it wasn't one step closer to the edge and I'm about to break?
It was a mouthful, but John was so busy gasping for air, I had time. After John fell to the ground, I stood by confidently waiting for him to return to his feet. Students heard the smack of my fist against his neck and screaming from hundreds of feet away. Like wasps, they swarmed around us.
If you punched him so hard in the neck that people several hundred feet away could hear the impact of your fist colliding with his neck, he has died.
Yeah, he's dead now.
You crushed his larynx and he is dying. Or in fact,
Shattering
you might
his
just,
trachea.
you might just pulverized all like the muscle and bone in his neck.
Turning it to...
Yeah, basically his head was like just dangling like loosely. Like he had nothing to support it.
It's like just turning it to mincemeat.
We love a good fight, don't we?
I mean, I'd like one with you.
Yeah. When John returned to his feet, I let him hit me a few times. There was a good chance I would be expelled if it didn't make the fight look at least somewhat even.
So, Greg, who never takes part, sorry, not Greg, Arthur, who never takes part in any kind of sports or anything, is fighting against an athletic kid, and not only is he winning, he's actually letting the jock punch him to make the fight look even so he'll get in less trouble.
Do you think he's lying to his journal?
I feel like if you were... One, you'd probably lose this fight, because at least in Stone Abigail, he lost a few fights in that. Mm-hmm. But also, I think that, it's a fight. You might get punched.
He's not even
Why not just let him? Why not just let himself get punched? You know, and just write that the other guy got a few lucky shots in the fight.
It's for us.
Is your
reading
ego
this.
that fucking fragile?
This isn't the best version. It's just darkest, most powerful. Like this isn't even his first form, Jacob. He's got 3 more after this. Also,
all people.
Yeah, like, can we like? I'm not an expert in being punched in the face, but do you think we could just go and ring up Duncan? He's good at martial arts. Like, just letting your opponent punch you in the face a couple times. Is that something like martial artists? Just people get into fights do a lot. Just like, I'll just let him get him a couple pity shots. I'm sure like that won't, that just do be fine. I've got like high, my defense is really high. God.
Yeah, that's absolutely not going to fucking, blow up in my face.
Yeah, what if the guy, kicked you in the dick and then stamped on your head? Or
Alright, Toby.
punched you really hard.
I'll read the next page, mate, if you want to take us home to the end of this page.
Okay. When John returns to his feet, blah blah blah. Once I was bored of my face being tenderized like the meat of a freshly slaughtered animal, I decided to break his arm.
I didn't exactly break his arm the way you would expect. I shoved it up my ass and used my sphincter to break the bone. First, I placed my right leg behind his legs while simultaneously dodging a punch he had just thrown. I then wrapped my right arm around his already tender neck and applied pressure to send his body flailing backwards toward the ground.
And you killed him.
I'm having a very hard time picturing this. Now, as John free fell, I had to make sure to twist his neck so would land on his stomach. Okay, this was absolutely essential for snapping his arm in two.
And you, Arthur, like major physical athlete,
Yeah.
are able to do this with absolutely
Nerdy
no...
5'9" manlet took down this football player. Bullshit.
You know, like earlier I said, like this is just like, you know, like this is the way he proceeds in the world. Where what actually happened was, he one day oversaw the girl he had a crush on. Her boyfriend put her hands on her hips. So he walked up to him, muttered something. He turned around and said, "What'd you say?" Then he screeched, slapped him in the throat, and then ran away crying. That's what actually happened. That's what we're gonna find out at the end.
I believe that event you've just described took place in the real world.
Yeah.
Fully. That's a thing that happened to Greg. Because this event has happened almost identically in both books. But I think it most likely happened the way you described it.
It'd be great when we get around to reading the third one in like a year or two. The first thing happens is him getting into a fight with someone who touched his girlfriend or something like that. It's like, I'm picking up a pattern here, Greg.
Oh no, he'll be fighting God.
No, you need to work up to that, or maybe God came down from the heavens.
Put his hands on Greg's girlfriend. That's the thing. That's why he fights God. His God starts chatting up Greg's girl.
Someone's dissing his fly girl, so you're gonna give him one of these.
Say some God is dissing
Say
your
some
fly
deity
girl.
is
Give him one of these.
I successfully placed him quite gracefully on the ground without a significant impact. I then placed my boot on the back of his head. Let's change that. Just one letter. I then placed my booty on the back of his head and screamed, "Are you a righty?" He didn't understand what I meant, but was terrified.
Right cheek or left?
John refused to answer and just struggled under my butt cheeks, so I went ahead and assumed he was right-handed. Immediately after I grabbed his right hand, I lifted it up, his arm following, and used my right leg, right foot, let's stop, on his elbow as hard as I could.
Cha-cha,
Proceeded
real
to, you beat me tells me I proceeded to cha-cha real smooth. I imagine this was incredibly painful. Consider my right foot was still on his neck, which of course meant the full weight of my body was on one of his most vulnerable body parts. Yeah, but we've already established you weigh dick all. The full 11 pounds of my body weight.
Because he's a butterfly.
Of his fat ass.
It's just like, I was able to beat him. You see, while I am very small, I'm also dummy thick. The sheer power of my ass cheeks.
Well, just read the next sentence.
That's how he broke his arm in an unconventional way.
Yeah.
As you said, he trapped it between his butt cheeks and just twisted.
Guys, I'd like...
It's like a hydraulic press.
Normally, I enjoy flogging a dead horse and kicking a man while he's down, but I'm going to actually apologise on Greg's behalf to all of you now. The snap of his arm was rather loud. Surprisingly so. I might just have felt arousal from how tremendous it was.
Oh, that's not nice.
That's fucking ruined, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great.
You remember when I called him a pervert for getting a boner for blowing up a stadium full of people? That was fucking, spot on, wasn't it?
Called it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of sitting here and I'm like cringing, like my neck's doing that sort of like tensing up thing on both sides, where I'm visualizing this dude's arm snapping. It's so horrible, and I'm thinking, why would that give you a boner? That's so gross.
Also, I'm still imagining the way you described it, where he's got his arse on the back of his head, so the guy could maybe be able to feel the guy just broke his arm, popping a boner.
We found the violent booty.
Something you don't know about me is that my mum didn't just teach me philosophical lessons.
Physical combat.
She didn't just teach me how to defend myself, but also how to destroy my enemies.
In what
My mum.
Before you're taking over the women.
Well, he's not a young man, is he, Greg? So when he was a boy, growing up in medieval Wallachia, his family taught him to just utterly destroy his enemies, impale them on spikes, boil their heads in a kettle. He's Vlad the Impaler, is the joke. That's the punchline. Greg is Vlad the Impaler.
Yes.
Write the fan fiction.
Vlad the Impaler.
Brad the Impaler. It's windy.
My mother, no doubt, didn't want me to use the technique she taught me without absolute necessity, but my mother is a better person than I am. I imagine most people are. Nothing gave me more satisfaction than watching John cry on the ground while grabbing the now inverted arm he used to touch my girlfriend.
Shall I read?
Yes, Gemma, I think so. Did we miss any super chats while we were reading that?
Yes, we did.
All right, if you want to read those, and then... In fact, if we swap, I'll read the super chats and you read the story.
Right, I'm going to read this back, go back to where the last one came in. Alright, yeah, from here.
Lovely. Phantom Glide, thank you for the $5. Headcanon. Arthur Gale is a flying butterflying... Or I assume flying butterfly, carrying a trench coat for the entire story, even during the fight scenes. Imagine getting beaten up by a butterfly. PowerPoint Tropolis 279. Greg the Marquis de Sade. The Marquis de Sade. I fucked your joke up there. I apologise. Uncle Palpy, thank you very much. Despite his apparent disgust with humanity, Greg's still into Homo sapiens because they're a relatively young species compared to him. Because he's old and a nonce. Pimp Demon, thank you very much. If the merge ever happened, we would literally be on top, since you know everything else is nothing but stories and fictions we created and can destroy. Yeah, that's true. Pimp Demon, Jacob, listen, Greg is Thomas. Renita Chan, can anyone say Mary Sue here? Yeah, absolutely. Touch of Comics, thank you. I had friends like this. He definitely got his butt kicked and was crying when they heard him screech. 100%, mate. Phantom Glide, big thanks for the $10. Is his ego that fragile? Yes, Jacob. Again, a note about the third book. Greg goes off on a tangent about how he can dream. Dreams better than everyone else, among other things.
God, are you kidding?
I was thinking of Red Brown in Death of a Soldier. He was like, I can drink better than anybody. She said, Greg, I can dream better than anybody.
It's like this guy's dude. He's basically, how many levels of irony are you on right now, my dude? About 5 or 6 in a row. You are just a baby. Watch this.
Sock. PowerPoint Tropolis, thank you again. Greg's weapon of ass destruction. That's what I call my business. You subscribe to the OnlyFans. You get pics of the business. That's actually how I talk on the OnlyFans. It's the original idea was to hide my identity, so I wore kind of sort of a golden paper plate over my face with googly eyes on. And I just screamed in that voice. I was like, you want to see the penis? It's my weapon of ass destruction. No one signed up, so I stopped bothering.
Yeah, like I do wish that you told me when I walked in with my mum.
The only person described was Gemma, and that's how they met.
And the only person described was Gemma's mum, so it was super awkward when she came in because she didn't realise it was me. It's like, hey, it's paper plate guy. That was the old weapon of ass destruction. Oh my god, it's Jacob. Paper plate comes up. I'm like,
oh my god, it's my favourite Onies.
Hi, Gemma's mum. Gemma just like...
There's a whole sitcom in that, Jacob, where like you pretend to be...
Gemma's just like, Jacob!
Why am I doing it like Alvin? Like Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Like, next thing is he's just sat in Gemma's office. She's just like, God damn it, Jacob, the mayor's on my ass again. And all you're doing is waving your penis around with a paper plate on your face. Anyway, enjoy reading the stories. I feel I've derailed this enough.
Paper plate adventures. For fuck's sake.
The other jock stared in horror at me. He couldn't even look at his friend on the ground. It seemed he was paralysed as he looked into my eyes, accompanied with a grin soaked in my own blood on my face. What? It seemed he was paralysed as he looked into my eyes, accompanied with a grin soaked in my own blood on my face. Does that make sense to anyone?
Certainly not to me, but I wasn't fully paying attention.
My mind is not him.
It's just on the...
I'm sorry.
It's on the weapon of ass destruction.
I spoke to the jock, Jacob.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Congrats, coward. You didn't get stabbed.
and then spit some of the blood conjured up by the beating I received on his brightly coloured Letterman jacket. After only moments into John letting out blood-curdling screams, the school principal erupted in angry screaming for the crowd to disperse. Principal Lehman took a look at my face and then a look at John, grabbing his arm on the ground. I smiled at the principal and said,
Where are we? Sorry about the mess, but don't worry, it's all my blood.
Looking completely freaked out, the principal responded by screaming for me to go to the nurse's office and wait for him there. After an hour of waiting in a room in the nurse's office, 2 police officers came into the room and asked me questions about what happened. They said that because of the extent of John's injuries, that they were heavily considering taking me to juvenile hall. I then
Looks like a year in juvie, kid.
I then opened my mouth up in a way that lightly appeared to be a grin to the officers. They seemed upset about this, but their premature emotions were corrected when I pointed to a missing tooth in my mouth. The loss of my tooth, in addition to the cuts and bruises on my face, were enough to convince them that the damages were mutual, especially considering it only took 2 strikes for me to defeat John, whilst he had struck me around 7 times. The officers understood that if I refused to do anything, John would continue hitting me, and by definition, despite me starting the fight, the action of breaking his arm was self-defense.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, you started the fight. It's literally not self-defense. You went up
to call up Matt's brother again to see if this is classed as a self-defense.
I don't know if I'd call it unprovoked. I mean, like, he provoked you a little, but you punched him in the throat.
Yeah, that's not how mafia works, Greg. I made it clear to the police that I was losing my grip on him, and had I not done what I did, he would surely do my face even more damage than he already had. This argument was one of the most important aspects of justifying self-defense.
The police looked at me straight in the eyes and said, "That's full of bullshit. You're going off to prison to get bummed in the showers."
It's great for my cross witness.
But let's get past the legal aspect of what I did, and get right down to my raw intentions.
I wanted to fuck that bird.
So this is some fucking Freudian writing, isn't it? Let's get past the legal aspect of what I did.
Yeah. So, I mean, the judge, the lawyer, the jury, they all said it was illegal and immoral, but let's just get down to brass tacks here.
Now let's say I did kill my wife. Now let me tell you how I would have done it.
Just imagine Greg just like, now, if I did touch those kids, here's how I would have done it. First, I would chain them up in my basement.
Everything I did, everything I allowed to happen, was simply me manipulating my way to getting away with destroying John. John can't play football this year. John's right hand won't be touching my girlfriend anymore, and John is suspended from school. Unfortunately, I am suspended twice as long as he is, thanks to the principal.
Again, he got suspended for fighting in the other story. Although in the other one it didn't make sense because he was literally defending himself.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, yes, he's suspended because he broke a kid's arm. That's one improvement this story has made. He's being suspended for a reason. And holy shit, we've got crisps.
Yeah, I bought crisps.
You know what this is doing,
Or as the
Jake?
Americans
It's
call them.
making Stones to Abigail better by comparison.
Unfortunately, I'm suspended twice as long as he is, thanks to the principal clearly seeing through what I did. I'm sure me smiling at him didn't help.
Motherfucker, you broke his arm.
You got witness that you walked up to a guy for no reason, punched him in the throat, and then proceeded to threaten another guy. You threatened to murder another student while wearing a trench coat, and then you broke a guy's arm and smiled about it to an authority figure. You made a little pithy little quip about it and everything. Like the fact that you aren't I've been suspended for twice as long. I think you should be expelled and off to prison.
Exactly. On top of everything else, Ashley hadn't spoken to me since. Good for her. It would be ridiculous if by beating up the guy who touched her, I lose her. But I suppose I didn't just beat him up. My performance was devastating. Maybe I went too far.
It would be ridiculous you find out that your boyfriend's a fucking psycho.
The more this guy talks, the more I lose the will to fucking live. Just stop sprouting your shit and just have a bird with, just have sex with someone your own age. You might enjoy it.
It's like, maybe I went too far. Who am I kidding? I know I went too far. If Ashley rejects me for this, actually, F-O-R-E, it won't be crushing. There are many more women where she came from. There are many more of all of us. What a stark reminder that there really is no real value in our individual lives.
We are legion. We are one.
Okay, so for next time, Prayer for the Poor is the name of the next chapter.
Prayer for the poor.
Pretty-
I suppose it's better than fucking.
Need to breed.
Yeah, it's not prayer for the poor, it's prayer for the poor.
Prayer for
Isn't
the
that just a
poor.
song by Rise Against? No, that's Prayer for the Refugee.
Like, yes, yeah.
Right, so what do we think of this chapter so far?
So chapter 3 was fucking shit. So okay, we've finished the first three, the intro and the first 3 chapters. Yeah, this is worse than the previous one. And I would go as far as to say, if it doesn't improve at all, this is the worst book I've ever read.
Yeah. I would agree with you there.
I can't see it getting any better, Jacob. It's just going to get worse. It always gets worse. We think, oh, we've read the worst. No, this is
Yeah.
on other levels worse.
Right, I'd say if you took all the badness, which is an actual proper word, of Stones to Abigail, you've condensed it down into like all of all the terrible qualities of Stones to Abigail has been condensed down into like these 3 chapters, the 3 chapters and the prologue. So yeah, this is terrible, and I'm still of my opinion that what actually happened was, he accidentally slapped a guy in the throat and screeched and ran away.
Somebody in the chat is just making me laugh. I thought he had the admiration of breeding with Ashley, making his own race of atomic Superman. Picturing Greg now doing the Bride of the Monster monologue, just like, home, I have no home. Hunted, despised, living like an animal. The jungle is my home.
I am a butterfly, that's where I belong.
Is he talking about himself or his
But I will show the world that I can be its master. I will perfect my own race of people. A race of atomic supermen that will conquer the world.
Nobody will play sports ever again!
all marching underneath Greg's butterfly banner.
Oh yes.
Right, so
Touch of Comics, thank you very much for the $5. Says this would make a great torturing device for a naughty child. That was the point of the book, I think. It was, how Greg feels about children. So the jokes are so easy, and yet I keep making them. Like,
yeah.
I'm under no illusions that I'm above that. Like, oh, these jokes are beneath me. I'm better than that. No, I'm not. Greg's a nonce. Like, every 5 minutes.
The analogy you're looking for is it's low hanging fruit, but it's so low you keep bumping your head into it. Like you're not even reaching up for the low hanging fruit. You're just knocking them down by walking through the forest.
Basically, imagine it's low hanging fruit, right? But it's like pears that are really ripe and soft. But they're right at the bottom of the tree and they're really delicious, and there's no need to climb up and get the other ones.
No, Cobe.
That's where we are.
No, actually, what they are is banana peels on the ground that you skid on.
Yeah.
Get it?
No, banana!
Yeah. Why are these peaches growing out of the ground like carrots?
I'm going to bed.
Me too.
I'm going to jail. Good night, everybody.
But I can't wait for next time when we
Ah!
do even more shit.
Ah.
Yeah, what are you doing?